Sam Howell experiment is over, and with Washington's coaching staff likely on the way out, we can expect the new regime to go out and get their guy. And when I say get their guy, I literally mean their guy. Caleb Williams, he grew up in Washington, D.C. The only thing standing in the way of the Commanders and their guy is the possibility of a team trading up with the Chicago Bears, who have still yet to decide what they're going to do with Justin Fields. Are they going to trade Fields and draft a quarterback? Or are the Bears going to trade with a quarterback-needy team? So to ensure Washington can get Caleb Williams, we're going to move up one spot in a trade. That's right. We got a trade right here as we're going to give away the second overall pick to get to that first overall pick. And I'm going to throw pick 139 in there, as well as a first rounder next year. I know Bears fans will be like, well, we want a second rounder in this year's draft. I don't think Washington wants to give away their second rounders because, well, I feel like they want to build through this draft. And I like the idea of an extra first rounder next year for the Bears, just in case Justin Fields does turn to a pumpkin. It gives them extra draft capital to go ahead and address the quarterback position. So, bam, everybody is happy. The Bears, they get to stay in range for Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's go ahead, get this sucker started by drafting Caleb Williams for the Washington Commanders. By the way, this is a 2-round mock draft. Now, the Bears, they're here at pick 2. They get Marvin Harrison Jr. I kind of already spoiled that. Kind of is what it is, but hey, everyone gets what they want. New England Patriots, how can this pick be anything other than a quarterback? Drake May, please. There we go. Arizona Cardinals, this one's very tricky, and I'd probably like to trade out of this spot, but I've already used my one trade in this draft. That's right, listen, I'm not doing any other trades in this draft. It's a 2-round mock, guys. Give me the benefit of the doubt. However, I think I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors here. He is a top 5 prospect for me, and I don't think he's that far off from Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not as far off as people may think. The New York Football Giants. Giants might hate this pick or they might love this pick. But to me, Danny Dimes ain't it. He's not the guy. He never was. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and replace him with the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels. That is the future of the Giants franchise right there. Now we're here at pick 6. And I know Charger fans would love Brock Bowers here, but right tackle is probably the weakest part of the offensive line, and maybe that kind of depends on Corey Lindsey and his condition. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Olu Fashanu. He edges out Joe All here because I think the Chargers may favor the better athlete, but it's a close one. Man, shoot, man. Do not fret, Tennessee Titans fans. We have Joe Alt on the board. The offensive line for the Titans is cheeks, and I ain't talking about yoga pants cheeks. It's bad. But before we get into more of this mock draft, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. So the Jets, we can go a few different ways here. We can go with offensive tackle 3, or I can follow my heart and add a pass catcher. I know some people are thinking Brock Bowers, but if you have watched Rome Odunze this season, then you are in for a treat if you haven't. Like, pairing him up with Garrett Wilson for Aaron Rodgers will make Aaron a happy camper. So I'm going to go with Rome Odunze instead of forcing OT3. Atlanta Falcons, not a great situation for the Falcons here, since Justin Fields is saying put. They just aren't in a great situation as they need a quarterback, and they are probably one of the most likely trade-up candidates. They can turn to free agency, but in this mock draft, I have Kirk Cousins not as a free agent. We'll get to that one a little later, but I mean, shoot, if Arthur Smith's still the head coach, maybe they bring in Ryan Tannehill. I know. Falcons fans are up in arms with that. Listen, I know it's not ideal, but it's just kind of the situation we kind of find ourselves in. Do I want to pull the trigger on quarterback for? I really don't feel like I should. Instead, I'm going to go with addressing the pass rush with Liatu Latu. Listen, this cat is a top 10 pick. If everything checks out with the neck, then I think he will go in the top 10. All right, Chicago Bears back on the clock. Fields got a weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr., and now I'm going to give Montez Sweat a running buddy in Jared Verse, who's actually my edge 1. People think Verse had a down season. That kind of blows my mind. Like, this dude is 4th in pressures among this current class. He has a 21% pass rush win rate, which is among the best in this class. He's much improved as a run defender. He's just a great fit for Matt Eberflus's defense, who we already know is coming back. All right, Raiders fans, if Antonio Pierce isn't announced as head coach after the season, I'd say riot. What does an interim head coach need to do to get hired? I don't know, but he has changed the atmosphere. He has changed the vibe. He has changed the culture. Now, the next step is getting a very solid offensive coordinator. And when they do, I think they're probably going to take his guy because I don't think Aiden O'Connell is the future. I think he's a high-end backup. That's about it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to snag Bo Nix. I'm a lot higher on Bo Nix than probably the general draft community, but it's fine, man. Bo Nix is freaking amazing. We're going to get a good glimpse of him at the Senior Bowl. Minnesota Vikings. All right, you must leave this offseason with a quarterback, Vikings. You must. And with the current draft position, I think they probably should re-sign Kirk Cousins. So I have him coming back. Now I can kind of do whatever the heck I want with this pick. And I think I'm going to be getting some pass rush help in the form of Dallas Turner for the Minnesota Vikings. He is explosive, and they like their explosive edge players. New Orleans Saints, I want a quarterback for the Saints. I don't think I'm going to take quarterback 5 here. So guess we're just kind of stuck with Derek Carr. Kind of is what it is. I do love the idea of Brock Bowers here as well. But now with Ryan Ramczak's future kind of in question because of the knee, I think this pick has to be a tackle. And I'm going to go with J.C. Latham. He has been phenomenal since the Texas game. He is going to be someone that a lot of offensive line coaches are going to fall in love with. Okay, take a deep breath, Denver fans. I know I just said I wouldn't want to take quarterback 5 at 13, though I think Denver's in a bit of a different situation. This pick kind of has to be quarterback. Like Russell Wilson is out the door, and they need to have a plan in place on how they gonna replace him. So with this pick, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Michael Penix. This is a little higher than where I have him on my current board. He's a bit of a tricky eval, but like I said, this pick needs to be a quarterback. Seattle Seahawks, and dude, the Brock Bowers slide's ending here. Like, this is just phenomenal value. Hear me out. Noah Fant is a free agent. Obi Parkinson is a free agent. Will Disley, well, is Will Disley. So this is just great value. Too good of value to pass up on, which kind of sucks because I would have loved for the Bengals to snag Brock Bowers here, but it is what it is. He is not here. Regardless, I think I'm going to go with Amarius Mims. He's kind of a nice consolation prize here for the Cincinnati Bengals. There he is. As they need to shore up the right side of that offensive line, and Mims is a very toolsy prospect. We got the Arizona Cardinals. All right, Arizona Cardinals, we took Malik Neighbors, and now I want to address the defense. They just released Marco Wilson, and Antonio Hamilton is probably their best corner right now, and that's kind of a big problem. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to dip into the Kool-Aid and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, if you want to know every prospect in this draft, you know I have a draft guide that will do just that. And don't just take it from me. Take it from me. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Pittsburgh Steelers had a great day on the ground just this past weekend with no help from their offensive line. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to snag Talanise Fuaga, who immediately slots in at right tackle. Broderick Jones will move to left. And suddenly you just have a very scary young tackle duo there. Green Bay Packers, they've been real injured at the cornerback position. And they could probably use more talent, depth, and competition. Nate Wiggins is kind of a next level athlete with great playmaking ability. So we're going to add him to the cornerback group. Pick 20, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I honestly think they're probably going to re-sign Baker Mayfield. I could go wide receiver if Mike Evans ends up walking via free agency. But I don't know if you saw, but you had some former Washington, now Bucs players at the Washington-Texas game. You had Vita Vea, you had Joe Tryon, you had Cade Otton visiting their old alma mater. And maybe they took a nice long look at this Washington team and they were like, hey man, this is a guy we would love to have on our team. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stack Braylon Trice, who had an unbelievable game. Listen, the Bucs, they need more pass rush. Trice brings exactly that. Indianapolis Colts. Colts are picking 21 here. And personally, I want to add talent at the cornerback position. Or maybe grab some pass rush since Gus Bradley is just allergic to blitzing. But I think probably one of the better prospects on here is Jerzon Newton. And I mean, for a lot of people, he is their top interior player. I mean, he had 43 pressures this past season. He had a pass rush win rate, a true pass rush win rate of 23.6%. I think Grover Stewart is a free agent after the season. So I think Jerzon Newton will be a really good addition here. Jacksonville Jaguars, they could look to probably add more consistency at the receiver position. And this may surprise people, but I'm going to be going with a guy that I've talked up quite a bit recently in Brian Thomas. Listen, and I know people are going to think it's wild that he goes over Keon Coleman. Listen, I think Thomas is a better athlete. I think he's a better jump ball guy, which says a lot because Keon Coleman is fairly solid at the contested catch as well. But it honestly shouldn't be that hard to believe. Like, Thomas is, like, I think if he didn't come out in this year's class, he would be vying for wide receiver 1 in 2025. But regardless, I'm here blowing the horn on Thomas. I've been doing it for a while. Sounds kind of dirty. Is what it is. Pick 23. We got the Los Angeles Chargers. They're coming off a great 2023 draft class where they had Puka Nacua, they had Kobe Turner, Byron Young, you had Steve Avila. So we're going to keep the gravy train a-rolling with Chop Robinson. Get some more pass rush help there. He is probably one of the most twitched up and explosive edge players in this class. Buffalo Bills. I think I'm going to snag a complimentary receiver for Stephon Diggs. And this is where we're going to take Keon Coleman. He's got that prototypical X wide receiver size. I think just a really good addition next to Stephon Diggs. He also brings some good after the catch ability just because he's so big, he's hard to bring down. Kansas City Chiefs, pick 25. This pick kind of has to be wide receiver, so we're going to go with wide receiver. I'm going to go ahead and take A.D. Mitchell from the Texas Longhorns. Patrick Mahomes, he needs more playmakers. Mitchell gives him a very smooth athlete and a very good route runner. Philadelphia Eagles. This has to be one of the worst coverage units in the NFL. So I'm going to go ahead and snag Terrion Arnold, who has inside and outside flexibility. Detroit Lions. Lions on the clock here. I really want to add more help to the cornerback room. I think we can get that done with Kamari Lassiter, who's had a very, very good year. I think he's actually a really good fit to Aaron Glenn's system as well. Houston Texans. So we're going to continue this run on secondary players, defensive backs. At pick 28, I'm going to go ahead and take Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, he's a bit tough of a projection because I haven't really seen how severe the leg injury is with him that put him out for the remainder of the year. But he can play on the inside, he can play on the outside, he can play safety. He just gives you a ton of flexibility in the back end. Now we got my Miami Dolphins, fins up, baby, on the clock. And I'm going to go with the cat that I love in this draft. I'm a big fan of Jackson Powers-Johnson. Connor Williams, gone after this year. Also coming off the ACL injury. So immediately we get a replacement at center who also has guard flexibility. If you didn't know, in 2022, he played right guard for the Ducks. Got the Dallas Cowboys, man. They can really go anywhere, but I think a good fit here is probably Graham Barton. I think that's a good fit. This is a little high for me. I'm not that high on Graham Barton, but just what he brings in terms of flexibility along the offensive line. He was recruited as a guard, played center his freshman season, and then played left guard or left tackle throughout. So he gives you get a piece that could almost play anywhere along the offensive line. That should be very attractive to the Dallas Cowboys. And you know what? We're here with the 49ers, and I think the run on interior players will continue. Kind of. We're going to go with Troy Fautanu out of Washington. Had a really good game against Texas. He currently profiles as a guard in the NFL, but that doesn't necessarily mean he can't play tackle in the NFL because he's done a phenomenal job at left tackle this season and last. And then to close out the first round, we got the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm gonna take someone that is flying up my board right now. I'm gonna take Byron Murphy out of Texas. Listen, if you're not familiar with him, this dude has had a dominant 2023, and quite honestly, I think he's gonna usurp Drazon Newton as my top interior player. Like, his pass rush win rate has been that good. He's just been that guy. He's got a bit of better size than Newton, not by much, but enough. And I think the play strength is a little bit better with him. Justin Matabuke is a free agent, and he's going to be an expensive one at that. So I don't know if Baltimore can exactly bring him back. But before we start the second round, I just want to let y'all know new prospect rankings for the 2024 NFL Draft will be coming out around January 15th. So expect those to start coming out. We're probably going to start with the quarterback position as soon as JJ McCarthy makes his decision. But let's start the second round off with the Panthers' first pick, and I'm just going to take a weapon for Bryce Young in Oregon's Troy Franklin. This is a guy that could can probably sneak into the first round. I mean, this wide receiver class is just so stacked, but I can't see it happening. Commanders, they're back on the clock. They got their franchise quarterback, so let's go ahead. Let's get him some protection. Kingsley Suamatea is a guy that can play both sides and slip into guard. He's a dude with a ton of tools and just needs a little bit more polish. I'm pretty high on him, so we're going to go ahead and snag him there. New England Patriots, they took Drake May in the first round. I like the idea of pairing him up with the guy he was throwing to this past season in Devontae Walker. He could be a hot riser after the Senior Bowl. Arizona Cardinals, we're here at pick 36, and I like getting an edge player here before the well kind of dries up on day two. If you look at the edge position on day two, like it can very quickly just dry up to where you're on in the third round and you're like, I would love to get an edge player, but there's really not a guy I love at this point. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to snag Chris Braswell out of Alabama. I love the length. I love the athleticism. He's just got a lot of tools he is working with. A lot of high-end tools. The New York Football Giants, they took Jaden Daniels. So with this pick, you could either get him more protection or you could get him more playmakers. I think the Giants would be better off just addressing offensive line in free agency. I don't like the idea of just keep throwing rookies on the offensive line. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and grab a wide receiver. I'm going to get a junkyard dog with some vertical potential in Jalen Polk. And I mean, that instantly, you got Jalen Hyatt, Jalen Polk, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Wide receiver core is looking really good. Okay, pick 38. We got the Chargers. I'm not going to lie, this one was pretty easy for me. We addressed the offensive line in round 1. And now we're going to switch gears here and address the defensive line by getting a big, meaty boy in the middle of that defense in 362-pound T'Vondre Sweat. Okay, pick 39. Tennessee Titans, we took Joe Alt in the first round, so I kind of want to get a slick route runner to pair up there with Treylon Burks and DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to snag Mecca Buka. I think he can be a high-end slot in the NFL. This seems to be like good range for him as well. Okay, we're at pick 40 in the Packers. We grabbed a corner in the first round. And I'm not going to lie. I think you're in a good position to take the first safety on the board here. And I'm going to do that with Cameron Kitchens. That's right. I think he's the best fit for their current defensive scheme. I know some people will be like, well, no, Joe Barry's not going to be there next year. Do you really honestly believe Green Bay is going to fire Joe Barry? I don't. So we're going to go ahead and take Cameron Kitchens there. Pick 41. Atlanta missed out on quarterback in the first round. We're going to go ahead and shoot our shot on J.J. McCarthy. Don't know if he returns yet, but he is, honestly, he's a dude that has the arm, he has the tools, but is one of the toughest evaluations in the draft just because Michigan doesn't ask him to do a lot. Washington Commanders, they have to address pass rush, I think, in one of these first 2 rounds after trading Montez Sweat and Chase Young. And I think the Commanders will probably try to go after one in free agency because low-key, this free agent class is kind of nice. We got like Brian Burns and guys that could potentially be free agents. So I think they'll probably get one there, but I also think they could probably grab one cheaper alternative here in the second round. And we're going to do that with Jonah Ellis out of Utah. Had a huge season this past year. Las Vegas Raiders. I'm just going to go ahead and take a value pick here in Leonard Taylor III. Dude has a huge ceiling, but to attain that potential, I think he's going to need to be coached up. And I believe Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham are the right guys for the job. I think they'll be up to the task. Okay, we got pick 44. Kirk Cousins, he's back. That's right. In this scenario, Kirk Cousins back with the Vikings. We went out, we got some pass rush in Dallas Turner. So now I want to go ahead and address the corner position. And I'm going to go ahead and snag Quinion Mitchell. If you don't know who he is, go ahead and check out his heavyweight bout with Marvin Harrison Jr. back in 2022. He will be at the Senior Bowl. There's a good chance he goes higher than this. Could be a hot riser. Okay, we're here at pick 45. I think probably this is a good spot to take the heir apparent to Lane Johnson. There's a couple of options we could go with, but I think Tyler Guyton, in terms of someone you want to sit and develop, is probably the guy. I don't think he's a day one starter, but he's a great athlete with very impressive traits. So we're going to go ahead and snag him here for the Eagles. We're here at pick 46. Again, the Saints, kind of a tough team to mock for. But I think I kind of know where I'm going here. The Father Time is coming for Cam Jordan. Peyton Turner hasn't shown anything. They don't really know what they have in Isaiah Foskey. So maybe they address pass rush to pair up with Carl Granderson. And I'm gonna go with Jack Sawyer. He's a jack of all trades, but a master of none. The guy is just a very high floor prospect. So we're gonna snag him here. We got the Giants, and this is just too good to pass up. Tyler Nubin being here is just freaking mwah. Listen, Xavier McKinney, he's a free agent. If they don't bring him back, I mean, this would be a great spot. Again, the value is just too good. Cincinnati Bengals, Tyler Boyd is a free agent. So we could go ahead and maybe go after a receiver as the well kind of starts to run dry. And I really like Ladd McConkey here for the Bengals. I did mention Tyler Boyd's a free agent. T. Higgins, I think, probably gets slapped with the franchise tag. So they'll be looking for that guy that can probably operate on the slot, but also can kick outside. Ladd McConkey, the dude is a very shifty route runner, very sneaky vertical target, and a very good run blocker. So I think he's probably going to go in the top 50, top 60. Okay, we're at pick 49 for the Houston Texans, and I think this is where maybe we see the first linebacker come off the board. Listen, DeMeco Ryans would love to have his Fred Warner and Edgerrin Cooper. He's got the length, he's got the explosiveness. He does need to develop in coverage, but Ryans is the right guy to develop him. Pick 50. This board just really worked out well for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they got their offensive lineman in round 1, and now we can get Joey Porter, his running buddy, in round 2. In Denzel Mims. I think he's a really good scheme fit. And he's coming off a big bounce back year where he has just been very good press corner, very good athlete. Green Bay Packers address the secondary with their first 2 picks. And I think now I'm going to go ahead and get my first pick of running back as Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. I don't think those guys are in the future plans for the Packers. I'm going to just go ahead and get my pick of running back, and that would be Trey Benson. This cat is a home run threat, and he is untapped. He has untapped potential when it comes to him as a pass catcher. All right, pick 52. Now, we did get Mike Evans' replacement in the first round, but we're sitting here staring down freaking Xavier Leggett. I'm a huge fan of Xavier Leggett, and this fit is just too perfect. He's big, he's fast, he'll go up and he'll get the football. I love that for the Bucks. Pick 53. I love the idea of pairing Juju Brents with TJ Tampa. I think immediately the Colts would have one of the biggest and longest quarterback rooms in football. So gotta love that. Jacksonville Jaguars. This one, I'm actually going to take Jordan Morgan. I'm much higher on Jordan Morgan than this, but good players fall in the draft. That's just what happens. I think he could immediately contend for left tackle or maybe play left guard if they're still content with like Cam Robinson playing tackle there. Pick 55. The Rams, they need a left tackle. We just saw one go in front of us, so we're gonna go ahead and take Patrick Paul. He has very interesting tools, very good athlete, could be a hot riser for me after the Senior Bowl. Okay, we got the Bills here at pick 56, and I'm just gonna snag a player not enough people are talking about in Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Mizzou. Him and his teammate, Chris Abrams-Drain. They're going to be guys at the Senior Bowl definitely to watch out for, but Rakestraw has just game-changing speed. He shows really good football IQ in coverage. He just understands route concepts and route tendencies. He just knows how to put himself in position to make a play on the ball. Both Buffalo, you got Trey White coming off another injury, and I'm just fairly confident the Bills are out on Kaiir Elam. Okay, we got Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if Chris Jones resigns, but even if he does, I think they can get another scary threat on the interior here who can just move around the defensive line, just has flexibility. Brandon Dorless is that guy. So whether Chris Jones is here or not, I think Brandon Dorlus would be a nice addition. Hey, we're back here with the Philadelphia Eagles. We already saw one running back come off the board, right? Let's go ahead and get another running back, as DeAndre Swift is a free agent. And I'm going to go with Travion Henderson. I think this is a nice pickup. I think that's just a really good replacement for DeAndre Swift. Detroit Lions. This one, I'm not going to lie, very easy for me. I'm going to go ahead and take JT Tuimoloau. I know some people might be shocked that he fell this far, but I've kind of come to the terms that he's a bigger project than probably most of us realize. I love the build. I love the length. I love the strength. I love the explosiveness, but he just hasn't turned it into consistent production yet. So we're just going to go ahead and take a swing of the fences here for the Lions. Browns, this is their first pick. And I think we're just going to go ahead and take a linebacker because Anthony Walker is a free agent after the season. And this is kind of another swing of the fences because Peyton Wilson would be a first rounder if not for the injury concerns. So we're just going to go ahead and roll the dice on Peyton Wilson. My Miami Dolphins, fins up, baby, fins up. And you know what the Dolphins slogan is? Speed kills. It kills. And the Dolphins are the fastest team in the league, and they will continue to be the fastest team in the league with the addition of Xavier Worthy. Listen, Tyreek Hill says he's done after this contract. So we're just going to go ahead, add more speed. I mean, regardless, you have this. This is just a very scary triplet of wide receivers. Is that the term I'm looking for? I guess it is. But Xavier Worthy probably goes higher than this just because, well, he is fast, and teams are going to look at that and be like, ooh, me like speed, me want speed. It's just kind of how the NFL works sometimes. Dallas Cowboys, their run defense has kind of been exploited at times this season. And there's a few ways they could probably fix that problem. I think I'm going to go ahead and add Chris Jenkins here. They went with a Michigan defensive interior player, Amazi Smith, last year. We're going to get his teammate, Chris Jenkins. He's a nice addition to the rotation there. Of course, they got Osa Odigizua, but I mean, he's more heralded for what he does as a pass rusher. So, again, we're just kind of adding to the rotation. Pick 63, and I think I'm going to continue to add depth on the offensive line. I'm going to add depth. I'm going to add competition, and I'm going to go with Christian Haynes. I'm a big fan of Christian Haynes. He immediately will contend for that right guard starting position. And here we are, the final pick. We're at the end of the road. And this is just a really good value pick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Kalen Keene. He's coming off a down year, but his 2022 tape is really good. The Ravens, their cornerback 2 spot is a bit of a toss-up, and he would likely be in contention for that starting spot almost immediately. So we're going to go ahead, snag him. Wait for this thing to analyze my draft. And yeah, that's it for the video. We'll be back here tomorrow with a walk the mock, and be on the look for prospect rankings. I'm also going to have a Pro Bowl snubs video and end of the season awards video. I'm going to start working on those a little bit later today. We will also be doing a watch along of the national championship. So join us for that on Monday, but go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.